Good afternoon, everyone. Scott G with the Simple Trading Life here. How are my premium members doing today? Scott G with the Simple Trading Life here. Hopefully, everybody's having a good day. We'll wait a couple of minutes and let some people join, and then we'll get started. See, a couple of you are in the room. You guys can always let me know who's in here. Just type in hello in the comments, and then I'll see, because it doesn't show me unless you type in a comment. It just says there's two people in the room with me. Let me know you can hear me, see everything. Hey, Cathal, good to see you. Nice to have you. Is this not crazy or what? Oil all the way down to 1 penny. 1 penny. Like what I was talking about in the room, what I said the short of a lifetime would have been is this shooting star right here. It's not a great one, but obviously you knew that the trend was down. If somebody would have shorted right there at about 1140 and just rode that sucker down, that would have been crazy. I mean, obviously, I don't think anybody expected it to just do this right here. Um, but this is the last day of this particular contract. So it obviously will lose some value towards the end, but this is like unprecedented that you see anything like this. Just absolutely nuts. Okay, good. I'm glad the stream is working well. All right, we'll get back over to ES here. So I see a lot of people on Twitter, even some people I respect quite a bit. They're really surprised that ES has shown the strength that it has today. Let me squeeze it in a little bit. Okay, I just want to get it to where you can see the broadening triangle. Um, you shouldn't really be surprised about anything, right? I mean, obviously anybody can guess of what's going to happen, but to say that you're surprised that it's showing strength because oil is weak, really the two are not correlated. Okay, the market and oil are not correlated. I know at least one or two people asked me that in the room already today. Um, so the market's not going to follow oil for sure. I mean, oil's going to do what oil's going to do. It's its own thing. And the market is obviously its own thing. Now, the market can drag other things down, but oil is not necessarily going to make the market go down. However, as I typed in, I can't remember if it was the free room or the premium room, the market is basically a deck of cards right now. I mean, we all know it. All this strength, like if I go out to the 4 hour here, let me go out. Okay, from down here, okay, here's where we bottomed out on the market correction. All this strength right up through here. Now, some of it was a relief bounce, but some of this is just artificial, right? Everybody wants the market to go up. Obviously, the Fed is doing everything it can to prop the market up. It's just, I don't know how to say it, but I don't expect it to last. I mean, at some point, we could just totally roll over and have another, you know, I don't know, week, 2 weeks, a month, 2 months, whatever, of the same kind of stuff that we saw when we went from all time highs down to here, right? We could see that same kind of thing because when the growth is artificial, the least little thing, that's why I called it a deck of cards, the least little thing could send it tumbling down. And you definitely don't want to be like in any kind of long positions long term if that occurs. Now, you guys know me, I rarely, it's not never, but I rarely hold things overnight or more than a day or so. And that's because you don't want to get caught on the wrong side of something like that. And if I ever do, it's a small position. I'm not trying to think, make up something. I'm not buying 10 contracts of Apple and going to hold it for the next month or two. That's just not going to happen, right? You're just putting yourself in jeopardy. Okay, so back here to the market. We'll kind of, like always, we'll look at some different things. Hey, Riz, good to see you. So today, even before the market opened, we had already started turning the corner. So overnight, okay, we started over here, came down, we came back up right to the top of the broadening triangle. And let me show you something here. This is what I really want to start getting into more of. All right, so I showed you guys in the room, the premium room. Scroll it out just a little bit. Okay, I was showing you guys the other day how I look at the market, right? Here's a contracting range right here. Okay, then here we had a sideways range, so we're looking for a breakout, which we got. Okay, we're not looking one direction or the other, we're just looking for a breakout. Happened to be to the downside, okay, right down to the 200. You'll notice how all of this stuff makes sense when you start putting it in perspective. Okay, contracting range. How do we know it's a contracting range, right? It's because we were making tighter and tighter highs and lows. Tighter, okay? So it's a contracting range. That tells us that at some point it'll break one way or the other. Then when it broke through, it went sideways, then we had a breakout, okay? Sideways, then we had a breakout. Then we entered an expanding range that we're still in right now. Okay, and again, how do we know that it's expanding? Because our highs and lows get further apart. Here, we actually broke out of the top of the range, came back, retested it, back to the 20, and then you've heard me use this expression before, dropped back in. So sometimes you will break out of a broadening triangle or an expanding range, and then you'll drop back into it. And how do we know we drop back in? Well, it's not that we just went below this line. We came back up and retested it twice and didn't go back through it, right? And now, what are we doing? We're working our way back down. You see this? Will we get all the way back over here? We don't know yet, but we know that that is the potential magnitude of the move, right? Until something changes, we know that's the potential magnitude of the move. And we tested this here and here. Then we came back up right here at this resistance level, 2869.50. Then we had this nice drop here. Okay, this was from midnight to 7:30 this morning. So 7.5 hours, big drop. Okay, then we rounded off down here. It's just like rolling over, but it's the opposite. You see this? Now I'll get a little bit closer. Okay, you see how we rounded off? You see what I mean here? Rounded off. So it's just like if it was up here, we would call that rolling over. Okay, so this was a precursor right here that we might be getting ready to have a move to the upside. We broke through the 200. This is where we opened. This is our 9:30 candle, and then we had the big move up. We had some profit taking along the way, but nothing that told us we were reversing. Big move up until right here. If we look to the left, did it make sense that we stalled out here? Well, we had a move down, structure, and then down. Okay, you see our two candles here? So here's our structure, then we move down. So yes, right in here, it makes sense that we would have at least, not necessarily known for sure that it would reverse, but that we would at least get some resistance right here. Okay, right here. And we did. And then it turned lower. Okay, we haven't got all the way back to the 20 yet, but it turned lower. Now, are we just putting in structure here? And are we going to go higher? Or is this going to start working its way down? That's what we're going to look at. Now, if we go back, let me squeeze it back out to the bigger picture. Okay, we're still on the 30-minute, but just making it a wider range. You can see we drop back in to the broadening triangle or expanding range, whatever you want to call it. Came back up and tested, came back up and tested, went lower. Now we got to determine, are we making lower lows and lower highs and just going to continue on until we get to the bottom of the range? That's what that remains to be seen. We'll be watching for that. But I wanted to kind of give you guys that insight yesterday and then today as we're doing this private live stream. That's how I look at things. That's how I look at the market. So if I squeeze that back in, all right, when I'm looking at candles, when I make the view wider, I'm looking for contracting or expanding ranges, sideways ranges, and breakouts. Up, down, whatever. And when you get this, no matter how long that goes on, you're eventually going to get a breakout one direction or the other. This time it happened to be to the downside, right down to the 20 here. Okay, when you get a contracting range, you know at some point it's going to break one direction or the other. Now, as you can see right here, it was delayed, right? We got below, then we went sideways, then we dropped. Okay, sometimes you'll just get below here, you'll come back and retest and then drop. But we're trying to identify the best that we can nice potential moves and then gauge the potential magnitude of a move. Okay. Now, I know there was something I wanted to look at. Oh, right here. Okay, so earlier we had this inside candle on the 30 right here. Then the next candle, it did what? It just barely took out the top side, came back through, and formed a shooting star. Okay, I was taking my break, but if you look right here, beautiful scalp opportunity. Let's look there. So from basically 28.50, it got as low as 28.38.50. So that was $11.50 down to here. So as it started to come back, you maybe would have got out with an $8 or $10 scalp right there. I mean, I probably would have been going, I'm just being realistic, I would have been T1 to the 20. Okay, now we didn't quite get there on this candle. It looks like this is still going lower. But when I seen this kind of pullback, I definitely would have been exiting, right? Because you're scalping. But what I wanted to point out, inside on the 30, followed by a shooting star, and that's a nice shooting star, right? Small body, wick that's 3 to 3.5 times size after a strong move up. Okay, then we started down, we get this here, and that shows you on this inside candle. Remember we were talking about reversals over the weekend? I told you that there are some people that trade price action that the only thing they look for are reversals. All right, so meaning it tries to take out one side, okay, fails, comes back through, and then if they get a signal like this, or a spinning top, or a doji, they take out the bottom of that, they fully expect it to take out this side and have some order of magnitude to the opposite direction. They're powerful. That's why some price action traders, that's all they trade. I trade more than that. Okay, I don't just trade reversals, but I'm showing you what their thought process is. So inside, right? This candle here, inside of this, after a strong move, that starts to show the weakness. Now remember, this candle opened up down here, right? Yeah, opened up down here. And at one time, this was a big green candle, just barely, I can tell you exactly, 28.58, 28.56.70, 28.57.75. Okay, so by 25 cents, one tick, just barely takes the top of this out and then reverses and comes all the way back through. That should be telling you right then and there, okay, I have a reversal in progress. Now, if you take the bottom of this out right here, okay, that is a high probability scalp. Now, my T1 would have been right here. Okay, we didn't make it all the way there. We said down to here it was like $11.50. So as soon as it started to come back on you, you maybe get out at $10 or $8, something like that, wherever you felt comfortable getting out. But that's a nice little scalp, high probability. All right, next candle right here. Let's see, 28, 30, 50, 28. This is an inside candle, right? Exactly even down here, which makes it an inside candle because it didn't take it out. Same thing. And what do we have right here? Okay, we don't see them all that often, but what do we have right here? A single candle power reversal. Went up, barely poked above, reversed, came back through the zone, and now it's taking out the bottom. Our only issue is we have this right here, the 20. Okay, I would, in a perfect world, and it's not always perfect, right? That's why we have to make decisions on the fly. In a perfect world, I wouldn't want to see the 20 there, and I would think at least to here, if not down to this wick right here. And we still might get down there. I'm just saying we know that we have a potential obstacle here. We have a potential obstacle here, potential obstacle here, and potential obstacle here and here. All right? Now, doesn't mean that any one of them, if you had enough momentum, would stop this. I'm just saying we're talking about probabilities. You can see right now we're getting a little bounce off the 20. This, the single candle power reversal, is a very powerful signal. Why? Because we tried to take out one side of an inside candle, came all the way back through the zone, and did take out the other side. So that shows you that the second side that gets taken out, whether that's up or down, that is significant strength by that side. So in this case, the sellers, right? In this case, the sellers. If this wasn't here, I bet you we'd already be down here. Because those are powerful signals. Those are the kind of things you look for. Now, let's look where we at on the monthly. Get in the habit of this. And if you have, multiple monitors, you might have this up on another screen. Okay, so we're green on the monthly inside. We'd say green and inside. Weekly and daily are going to be the same, so all we have to do is go to the daily, right? Because it's the start of a new week. So they won't change until tomorrow. Tomorrow, the weekly and daily will be different. Okay, we're red on the daily and the weekly. They're both going to look like this until tomorrow. Okay, so green and inside on the monthly, we're red on the daily, and then we go back to our 30-minute. And on our 30-minute, for the day, we're down, we're red. On the 30-minute chart I'm talking about. Excuse me. We are green on the 30-minute chart from market open. This is showing you what we're down for the day. Okay, this is showing you what we're down for the day. Okay, now we're trying to break through the 20 right now, right? I told you, single candle power reversal is a very powerful play. See this? Okay, we struggled there for a minute, right? You saw it bounced back up $4 or $5, and now it's trying to work its way through the 20. Okay, next area is right here, 28.31. We'll watch it here for a couple of minutes because this is good price action lesson time right here. I guess we could also look and say this little wick right here on this big candle, it hasn't got through it yet. Got to know where your surroundings are. So basically got down almost to the bottom of that wick, and now it's pushing it back up a little bit. We can also always pop out the time and sales and kind of see where we're at. Remember, whenever you get to a sticking point, you can always look at time and sales, and it'll give you a good idea. Look at these numbers, right? See how it went up to 28.35. Now it's back down to 28.33. Now it's back up to 28.34. You look at the size of these numbers over here. So it's struggling right here, just like it struggled when it first got to the 20. And we know buyers have been strong all day, right? Okay, so if sellers want to really take command here, they have to be strong. All right, now they're making an effort. Now they're making an effort here. Okay, see it changing over here. Okay, so we went from 28.35 down to 28.32. This is only showing the bigger contracts, right? It's not showing us the onesie, twosie, threesies. So that's how it's still moving down, even though this number is not changing. I have this set for 10 contracts or greater. So that's why it's still moving down. That tells us there's a lot of onesie, twosie, threesies happening that are lower. Okay, so now we're back down to this level, which is our support level. Single candle power reversal. Even with these obstacles, look how strong this candle's been. That's why I want you guys to start to be able to see these on whatever chart you're playing, right? Because I can only look at so many things. And I know there's names that you guys like to play that I never look at. But when you see these setups start to occur, right? Like here, this was a great setup. After a strong move, inside candle that was red, we attempted to take out the top, then it comes back through, then you're looking for a reversal. You go below here, that's where you enter. You'd have a tight stop up in here somewhere, and we already know what kind of move we got there. Then we went inside again. Now we're starting to move down. We went up, barely poked our head up, came all the way back through the zone. You enter here, tight stop somewhere in here, and look at it pushing itself down. Look at that. Oil drops below zero. Negative 1142. Let's go look at that. We'll come back to ES. Let me get rid of time and sales. Look at that. Is that not the craziest thing you've ever seen? I've seen people on Twitter, they're like, we're going to be talking about this 20 years from now. Remember when oil absolutely went bonkers and went negative? That's crazy. That is absolutely crazy. Negative 1142. Absolutely nuts. All right, we'll go back over here to the market. We're going to look at some other things here in a second. This is just, I'm sticking on this right now because it's such a really good price action lesson, and that's what we're all about. Okay, if it loses this, right, if it loses this level, then it's this wick. This is our next area here, if it loses it here. Okay, it's pushing below, hasn't broken, held yet. So you notice it struggled here, it struggled here. Now it's struggling a little bit right here at this level, but so far it's had enough strength to get through all of them. Is it going to continue? Tell you what I'm going to do. I'll set an alert, not even all the way under it, right at the bottom. right at the bottom. And then I'll also set one just above the 20 here. And that'll give us the ability to go look at some other things. And we won't have to worry about missing anything. Hey Riz, that's a good question. I've never personally seen it go negative. Um, I don't know, right? I don't know. That's something that we probably need to look into. I know I'm not going to buy anything that goes negative, so I really don't know. And if you look over here, it's already down to negative 1398, negative 1398 already, and this is pushing through. But we're going to look at some other things. So let's go to AMD. I have some things in mind I want to look at today. All right, so here's AMD. Now there's a couple different ways that AMD could have been played today. So the first one was if you felt like there was some upside or downside, either one, you could have been aggressive and tried to play a break of the overnight lows or highs. Okay, you'll notice that it opened in between because here would have been the lows, here would have been the highs, and you could have played a break either way. Now, if you're going to do that, that's an aggressive play. You want to make sure, and we already know the market was in our favor. Okay, let's look at the monthly. Okay, the monthly was big time in our favor. All right, so if somebody wanted to be aggressive there, look at this big green candle on the monthly. And the daily and the weekly will be the same. Okay, we had an inside candle, okay, but we went green. So we would have had basically full-time, higher time frame agreement. Back over to the 30-minute. So this could have been one entry right here, right there approximately. Let's just say 56.90, and it made it as high as 58.63. All right, so not quite $2. That was one play. Then the other play was obviously the break over the daily inside candle. That's the more conservative play. Right here, here's our inside candle. So you wait, you play the break over here, which was probably would have entered right around 57.80. And we already know it went as high as 58.63. So what's that? 60 and 80 cents. All right, so you only would have got 80 cents right there. And it's kind of come back. I remember telling Kelsey, I know she'll watch this later if she's not on right now. I remember telling her that she was asking me my opinion on price targets. So I'll show you kind of where I was talking about. I told her if I wasn't in this, but if I would have been right before this level, maybe right around 59. But I said, you can go back and read the comments, if we don't clear 58.80, 58.80, this wick right here, we don't even have to worry about those, and we never did clear it. Right? Look across here. See how we got into that wick, and then price turned around, and more importantly, at the same time, that's when the market started to turn around. Okay, so if you were in this play, you got to know I got to get out. Things are no longer in my favor. I couldn't clear this wick right here. We started to reverse. Okay, ES is still tanking. We're going to go back and look at it. Okay, we couldn't get over this wick. We're starting to reverse, and the market's starting to reverse. So that means get out, because I know she got in down here somewhere. You just get out. You lock your profit in. You move on to the next trade. You don't sit there and waffle about it for the next 30 minutes or an hour or whatever. Well, maybe it's going to go back my way. As soon as you start hear yourself thinking that way or talking that way, you need to snap to it and say, oh my gosh, I got to get out. Don't ever start saying, well, maybe it's going to turn around and go my way. Well, it's been strong today. It's been strong today. Maybe I'm just, no. There were starting to be things, okay, again, couldn't get through this wick. We already see the doji. Then it starts to reverse. The market's starting to reverse. Factors are lining up against you. Get out, okay? Let's go back to the market. All right, look at that. Okay, so I put it down here, right here at the bottom, and when we got through that, we immediately dropped to opening price. Immediately. That's how fast. So look at this single candle power reversal. From the bottom here, so let's just say, to make the math easy, 28.38 is where you would have entered. That's 2 ticks below there, all the way down to 28.2275. Which that is exactly opening price level. And now look where we're catching a bounce. Come on, right? Do we know what we're doing here or what? Okay. So from here, 28.38, back down to 28.2275. You would have got out slightly before that. So let's say 28.23, right? Because you get out slightly before that. That's a $15 move. $15 move. We just watched it play out on one candle, single power reversal. Right there it is, textbook. That's what you're looking for on a single candle power reversal, right there. Then we get back down to opening price, and now we're catching a bounce. It's easy as that, right? Okay, let's look at a few other things. Let's go to CCYCC. This was on our small account growth list this morning. Okay, so here was our pre-market. There's our pre-market high. That's where we're looking to enter. Okay, we know we had news. Okay, we had news. Okay, teams up with University of Edinburgh to study compounds for COVID-19 inflammation. And you come down, where was it? Down here even lower. Where did it go? Sorry, guys, I went too far. Okay, right through here. Okay, so the news was that they were studying, or they're working together in this collaboration, and they're working on things to reduce inflammation for people with the COVID-19. Okay, so right now, until that changes, we know anything positive on COVID-19 for a pharma company, a drug company, a medical company, is giving them big boosts. That'll eventually change. Don't get tied to that. But right now, anytime we see news like that, we're getting these big spikes. Okay, so we know, right? We know we're going to enter at, I think I had 11.45 for an entry, because the top of this candle is 11.40. I'm a little bit conservative. I want to make sure it's 4 or 5 cents above there. So, sometimes you get a penny or two and it may reverse. But usually once you get 4 or 5 cents, then you're starting to get into, okay, we're really breaking out. So 11.45, this initial pop went all the way up here. That was 15.94. Let me look at the high here. 16. Okay, so from 11.45 to $16, that was your initial spike. That's a $4.50 move. That'd be all you need, right? Now, it only pulled back a little bit, then it spiked again, and it went all the way up. Now remember, this wasn't one continuous spike. If you guys remember, okay, it went from here up to like 16 something, and then it pulled back. Then it went up a little bit higher. I think it was 17 something, then it pulled back, and then it shot up to like 19.25, and then it's been selling off ever since then. But all I was trying to get through to you guys today, this initial spike on these small account, and I always use the term small account growth watch list. It can be any account. All right, I'm just trying to show names that would help people with small accounts grow quickly. All right, so even if you had 40 shares, that was 180 bucks on, I can't remember the math off the top of my head. I think it was maybe $458 or $438 investment. I mean, all in, okay, and you make 180 profit on this first spike and you get out, you made 39% on your money. And I gave the example, if you're somebody who's got a bigger account, if you bought 500 shares, I'm going off memory, 5,700-ish is what you had invested, but you made $2,250 in profit on this first move. Okay, not even any of this. Now, if you're more aggressive and you're like, hey, I think it's going to keep going up, and you're able to withstand all these, pullbacks up through there, I don't recommend it. It's dangerous because on one of them, this is what's going to happen. So unless you've got a good trailing stop, even if you had a trailing stop, you're probably going to get taken out because those were big swings. It went up to like 16 something and it pulled way back. And then it went up to like 17 something and it pulled way back. And then it shot up here and then it sold off. Okay, so if you had a trailing stop, you're probably still going to get stopped out somewhere in here. And it's tough. I'm just telling you, it's tough to keep moving your manual stop up as it keeps going up and back, right? Because then you kind of get that tendency of, oh, it's going to go more. It's going to go more. This is going to be that one that goes to like 50 bucks. That's what you start telling yourself, and then this happens to you. So you take this initial spike and you move on, right? You make 39% on your money. I mean, I know a lot of people, if they made 39%, that's it. I'm done for today. I'm not risking anything else. That's a great day. I mean, if you make 10 to 25%, that's a great day if you just do it over and over again. Okay, so this was CYCC. So I showed you, this is, okay, the reasons it was on my list. News catalyst, right? News catalyst, pre-market activity, had a nice range here in the pre-market, unusually high volume pre-market for this name, right? And look at this, okay? Look, we were even getting above 3 times average volume in the pre-market. See, this green and this dotted line, you guys know on my chart what that means. That dotted line is 3 times average volume. And then we go start the market, and look at this. 15 times average volume. This one, 12 times average volume. This one, 8 times average volume. Okay, first 3 candles were all that much over average volume. But all we're looking for is this initial pop on these kind of names. Oh, and it's a low float stock. Okay, that's why it made my list. News catalyst, pre-market range, unusually high pre-market volume, and it was low float. Okay, again, low float means not that many shares available to the retail public. It makes the stock move faster when you have all these other things combined. But remember, it can also make it move against you faster, either direction. That's what low float stocks do. All right, let's go to TTD. This was another one on our regular watch list. Okay, this was on our regular watch list. Here's our pre-market. If I remember right, TTD, it's trade desk. It's easier to say that, trade desk. Okay, if I remember right, it was an inside daily candle. Yep, inside daily candle that was a hammer. Okay, see that? And let's look at the monthly. Let's just see what we had. Okay, monthly was green, right? And we already know what the daily and weekly are going to be the same. So when you take out my trigger, okay, is going to be taking out the top of this, The top of this was 231.75, so 232, and then it worked its way up. My target was the 200, and I already put it in the room. This is where I would have got out, $6. It was a $6 gain from here to here. Easy peasy, pumpkin squeezy, as the kids would say, right? $6, in and out, no stress. But it went much higher than that. Okay, it went as high as 245.70 from 231. So let's say 232 to 235. Yeah, it was over $13 to its highs. Could you have held all the way up there? Sure. Okay, why did I pick the 200? Because it was also in confluence with this wick right here. That's why I picked, I'll get in a little bit closer. See that? That's why I picked this. This was $6 from where you would have entered here. It was exactly $6. Just out. That's a great gain. You move on. All right. You could have played options on this. Obviously, not very many of us are going to be playing shares on a $230 stock. Hey, Dennis. Nail has joined us. All right. So again, you see how easy that is? Price action trade. Easy. The factors are in our favor. This was also, Todd Father found this one over the weekend on a scan he did. So this is a bigger name that has a relatively low float. That's beautiful. And it had an inside day. And the market itself was moving up. This name has been moving up. A lot of things going in our favor, right? Right there, I just named 4 of them. The more factors we put in our favor, the higher the probability of the trade. And if we don't get greedy, right, we have realistic take profit targets, we're in and out, we make nice percentage gains, and we move on. All right, so that was TTD, Trade Desk. Let's see, what else? Roku. I'm just going through these things that were on our list. Okay, Roku, inside candle. On the daily, inside candle, right here's where the top would have been taken out. Let's look at it, 128. So I would have entered about 128.05. My take profit target would have been just under here, right up here. Okay, but it went higher. It went as high as 135.47 from 128.05. So 47. What is that? That's a lot, actually. Excuse me, 35. 135. So it was over $7. It was over $7 from our entry to its high of day. But I probably just would have took it right here. Right here. Okay, just below this. Easy $4 gain. Again, no stress. Get out slightly before this level, which is also in confluence with this wick. Take your $4 and move on. Then you're not worrying about, okay, am I going to get a big bounce against me? All right. Yes, it went up. It went up another $3. But you don't know that that's going to happen in real time. Let's go to the 30-minute. Okay, here's the 30-minute. Here on the very first candle, we already could have been right here. There's your $4, you're out, you're done. Okay, it went up, it came back, it did go up another $3, but look what it did, right? It came all the way back here, came up, came all the way back here, came up, came back down to here, came up. Would you be able to hold through all of that? Right? I'm experienced and I probably wouldn't do it. I would much rather take this safe. You hear me talk about it all the time, or those of you who follow me on Twitter, I'm all about low stress trades. Low stress. Stay relaxed, take your profit, move on. This was low stress. $4. All right. Let's see here. Let's just take a quick peek at the market before we go on. Okay, so we went up. We're catching some resistance currently at the 28.31 level. But again, it's just remarkable, right? We get our single candle power reversal to the tick. It hits opening price level, then it bounces. Then it bounces. Looking at it, let's see, we got less than 15 minutes to go. If this ends up a shooting star, that would show us that could be a momentum shooting star, and we could be looking at more downside. I'm not holding anything. I'm not looking to ride into the sunset. But again, we know what the potential magnitude of the move could be. So I said, we have the strong move down, right? A lower low, lower high. If this comes down and gets lower than this, then that tells us what? We're in a downtrend. Lower low, lower high, lower low. That's all you need. Then we would really be looking at this level here. Okay, the bottom of the broadening triangle. That's why it's important to know where these are at. You can gauge potential magnitude of move. Okay, but we've got time on this candle. This thing could, end up taking this out. You see it got back to the 20, kind of rejected, but it could take this out and go higher. It may end up forming a shooting star, and we go lower. We've got time. Let's put an alert right under the 200 here. That way, if it goes below there, and we already have one up here. So we've got our range covered. If it takes out the 200, we know it's starting to move down, and then these suckers are lined up to really get it accelerated. See that right there? Let me get closer. See this here? Beautiful candle structure for a bigger move down. That's if it reverses and continues down. This could just be some profit taking, or it may be buyers stepping back in, and this may be the structure level, right? Higher high, lower low, higher high. We're way too early to know for sure. Okay, let's go down. Let's look at United Airlines. United Airlines. Okay, so United Airlines, like many of the airlines, like all of the airlines basically, is doing what? It's been selling off because nobody's flying. But every once in a while, we get these spikes up. See this? Here. Okay. This was, let's go back. All right, that was sort of a double top right there. See that? Double top. Then we go lower, spike up, go lower, spike up, go lower, spike up. Now, okay, I would expect that we're going to continue lower. Is there any reason to think that it won't? Is there anything out there that tells us, remember, this is common sense. Is there anything out there right now that tells us that this shouldn't continue lower? We're in the 2763 right now. Okay, it tried to flush lower earlier today. The market dragged it higher. The market rolled over, and now it's going down. If the market continues down, especially, something like this could just continue to flush. We know, let's go back. We know what's happening. This is that same kind of look that the market had as it was correcting. Remember, we would get move down, okay, spike up, but then a bigger move down. There's your spike up, but a bigger move down. Here's your spike up, but a bigger move down. Here's your spike up, but a bigger move down. That's what the market was doing in those early stages of that market correction, right? Remember how we would look at that almost every day? And I would tell you on those days we would see those spike ups. Just stay calm. Just stay relaxed. Don't think that the market's going to continue. And then we get a big drop. Spike up, big drop. That's exactly what United Airlines has been doing. Okay? So if we get below here and hold, I expect this thing to continue to flush. All right, this is something on my own personal watch list. I'm letting you know why it's on my watch list. Because of the structure that's been occurring, there is no reason. Let's even look at the news. Oh my gosh, United sees $2.1 billion loss. And that was just at a little bit before 1 p.m. today. $2.1 billion loss. Let's see if there's anything else. United's loss warning shows airlines are doing even worse than Wall Street thinks. That was at 10:30 this morning. All right? So they're letting everybody know. They're trying to get out in front of it. Hey, we're going to lose money. And analysts are saying it's probably going to be worse than what we think. All right, so I'm not really concerned about what it's doing today, although it is, like you see, it kind of went up with the market and it's kind of coming down. If the market continues to show any kind of weakness here, this thing can continue to take another one of those big legs down. All right, let's just look. All right, from here, 32 to 20. That was like $4 move down. From here, 31 to 20. Let me see, 31 to 26. Almost a $5 move down. Almost $5 there. All right, and even if I came back up here, let's look at this one. 34.50 to just say 30, okay, $4.50 move. So just based on what's happened in the recent past, if we get under here and start making another move down, could expect it to be $3, $4, $5, right? Okay, this is how you look for stuff. I don't normally trade United Airlines, but why is it on my radar is because I see something like this. I saw the news, which made me then go and look at it and look at the chart. If I don't like the chart, I just immediately move on, right? No big deal. If I look at it and it's just chopping all over the place, but when I see this kind of structure, okay, spike up, bigger move down, spike up, bigger move down, spike up, bigger move down, spike up. What am I expecting? A bigger move down, especially if we take this out right here. Especially if we take this out, okay? So again, I'm trying to teach you how I look at things, all right? How I look at things and how I'm putting it all together in terms of what's the potential. Does it mean it happens? No. No, doesn't mean that it's going to happen, but I'm just trying to put things in my favor, right? In my favor. Okay, let's look. Shop, I know had a big day. It's probably backed off now. All right, let me do this. Shop's been having a lot of big days. Okay, here's where it opened. Okay, the candles are going to look skewed. They don't look that big, but they're huge. Okay, this opening candle alone, the high was 636 and the low was 584. So 16 plus, so that's $52, right? $52 range on this opening candle on a stock. That's not the market. That's not Tesla. Okay, this is Shop. From where it opened, 585.50 to basically 645. So 45 plus 15 is 60, and then take off 50 cents. 59, basically $59.50 to high of day from open. Shop. I've told you before, if you like volatility, this is a name you want to trade. If you like volatility, this is a name you want to trade. It can go against you, though, if your risk management's not good. Okay, Tesla, I don't think. Let's look here. All right, so here's where Tesla opened, flushed down, made a move up, and then has kind of come over here, but it was a gap down. Obviously, let me take this off so you guys can see it better. Equities. There we go. Now you can see it better. All right, so we gap down. Let me get closer. We gapped down, we worked our way back up, and then like Tesla's been doing a lot of lately, you see this? Second half of the day, it just kind of falls flat. Okay, it's been doing this a lot lately. Here, here, here. Now here it kind of actually tailed off, but 1, 2, 3, 4 days in a row. Once it's made its initial move, it comes back down and then it just sort of trades flat the rest of the day. So that's Tesla. We already looked at Roku. Let's see, Pepsi. Oh, wait a minute. Market. We just had an alert. I'll bet you it's still tanking. There we go. There we go. Remember, we were clear up here and it was green. This was big green right here off of this bounce. What did I say? Early. We were early in the candle. Look what it's doing. Let me stretch it out for you. Look what it's doing. So now what do we know, right? What do we know? We want to have things in our mind. Okay, this lines up for us to potentially have a bigger move down. 2803.75 could be some support. And then if we get below there, let's come back over here. That's 2788 to the bottom of this. So just remember 2788. And then come over here, 2783.88. Okay, you see that? Even when we go back to the left, we have a good opportunity if we clear this. Now this is a pivot, all right? So there could be some support here. We have a support level at 2803.75. But if this starts to get momentum because of this candle structure, and we get down and we get through here, okay, it's pretty decent chance that we make it to the other side of the broadening triangle, the expanding range. And we would know that even when we left over here and started working our way down, that is the potential magnitude of the move. What's happening here? Sometimes my TD Ameritrade like wigs out on me there. I was trying to give you a little bit better look. Okay, right there it is. That's the bottom of the expanding range. There's the top, or the broadening triangle, whatever you want to call it. Okay, there's 5 of you in here watching. Are you guys all starting to get this? Are you starting to understand what to look for, how to gauge magnitude, how to understand what's about to happen or what's likely to happen, where your potential obstacles are, right? Some of the setups that we look for. The triggers really should be easy, right? If you know the setup, then the trigger is when we take that setup out. So if anybody doesn't kind of understand, or there's something you specifically want me to talk about, cover, let me know. Okay, that's what these private sessions are for the premium room. Starting to try to get some momentum here, right? We need to clear right down here. I'll set an alert, but we'll watch it for a minute too. All right. We've been on this now, price action. We're going to obviously be on price action pretty much forever, but I wanted to be really, really like intense and in depth on it over these past 2 or 3 weeks because it's that important. This is how you're going to make money consistently, right? You don't need a bunch of fancy stuff. I mean, in reality, we could almost take everything off of here and still trade off of just price action and probably do just about as well. I did it in the past. I've just found that adding these other things, raised my level another 5 to 8, 5 to 10%. When I used to trade, I've told you this before, when I used to trade with nothing on the screen except the candles, they call that a naked chart, that's about 55% win rate. That's not bad, right? It's better than 50%. Winners were obviously better than losers. You're still going to gauge your reward to risk, right? Whatever that is. If you're looking for 3 to 1, you're still going to gauge that. But you could trade with nothing on your screen and do well. And there's a lot of people who only trade price action. That's it. They won't have anything on their screens. Now, they may have an occasional trend line, right? Like I know guys that they definitely won't have support and resistance. Most of a purely price action trader, they're not going to have support and resistance. They don't believe in it if they're a pure price action trader. I don't call myself a pure price action trader because I do have support and resistance and supply and demand factored in. But it's not hard, right? Okay, so we are catching like right here, these 3 candles as sort of a drop base rally, not a supply zone, not a supply zone. And why is that? Let's talk about that, even though we're not concentrating on that right now. Okay, even though this is a strong move in, we sort of limp down into it, and then we sort of limp away, even though it's a strong move away. We want to see candles like this, or maybe even bigger, like, I'll show you, like this. That's how you want to leave a level, right here. And right down here is 2788. That's where I got it from. Okay, that's why I'm saying 2788 would be an area to know, because look how we left there. That's how you want to leave a level if you're looking for supply and demand. We just sort of, these 3 candles might be your base, but see, we just sort of limped away and just sort of melted our way up. This was a pretty good candle. Now, if that's how you left right here, if this candle was right here, that makes it a little bit different, but still, you'd like to come in strong, base, and then leave even stronger. And then that's where you get great demand. All right, but this still is an area where you could expect support. We're getting it right now. We're getting it right now. Okay, we have our alerts set. Is there anything else that you guys want me to look at? Did we look at BA yet? Let's look at BA. Okay, BA, here was this big gap up the other day. Now we've come back and it looks like we want to retest. Again, that's why I don't take them off immediately. Okay, we had the starting of a broadening triangle, but then we gapped up above. Then we're pulling back, and it looks like we might want to retest this. That's why I don't immediately take them off. Now, if you just continue on higher away from here, yeah, you could take that off after a day or two. Okay, but we had started, okay, we touched it here, we came back up, touched it, went across, we were coming down. And remember, I kept saying this whole time, we had bad news back here. Remember that? We had bad news and it still ramped up. That was this day right here. Then it came down, then it blasted up again. Why did it blast up? Because they got news on what? That they were going to call back, tens of thousands of employees and start production again. So that's why it blasted up. But you see today, for the most part, other than this little spike at the beginning, it's been selling off. BA is still weak. Now it's going to be, I'm still sticking to it, once this is all said and done, the COVID-19 stuff is done, airlines get back to normal, I mean, that may be 12, 18 months, 2 years from now, at some point when this all normalizes, BA will be the buy of the century. Because it will, I'm just telling you, it'll rock it. You guys, I keep saying it. You just remember I said that. I've been saying it and saying it because I want you to remember it. It will be the buy of the century because it will rock it. Okay, we've been on here a little over an hour. Anybody have anything else you want me to look at? I'll scroll through, see if anything catches my eye. I really wanted to cover the names that were on our watch list there today and kind of show you how they played out. And there were names. Okay, that does remind me of something. Was this one of them? ACTV? No, it wasn't that. What was the one? Sorry, guys. I went to the wrong thing. Let me go back and look at them. I can look them up on my phone here real quick. All right. I'm scrolling back because I want to show you something. Oh, here we go with there. Okay. Thinkorswim not acting right. I want to show you something about some of these other names. Let me get back to the list. Then we'll wrap it up after that. All right, there they are. AVCT. AVCT. Okay, you see this? And because this is one of those growth names, I need to have the pre-market turned on. Okay, here's the pre-market. When you see something like this, it's going to be hard that we're ever going to get a trigger. So we never got a trigger. There was nothing to do on this name. AVCT. What I was hoping was we saw this. What time was this? 6:30. Yeah. I was hoping that this would be the absolute highest point of the pre-market. And right before market open, look what happened. Big spike up, and then it comes back down. Huge topping tail. Then we open up. We tried to go up, okay, but we never got close to taking that out, and then it sells off. So there's just nothing to do. You just move on, right? You just move on. Let's look at some of the other ones. Okay, SFET. SFET. Safety Group. All right, we got close. Okay, I have my alert set. You see, here was the pre-market high, 2.4. I had my alert set to go long at 2.44. Right out of the gate, we dropped, then we turned, and we were starting to, at the time, I was watching it. I'm like, oh man, maybe they were trying to fake everybody out and they're going to blast up through here. Never took out the pre-market high, no trigger. And then look what happened. Big reversal, quickly, sells off. Nothing to do. On these small account growth names, the watch list I put out in the morning, we are only looking to go long. We are not looking to go short. A couple of reasons, right? Number one, most platforms aren't going to let you go short on a name that's down around $2. Okay, most of them aren't going to let you go short. That's one reason. Number two, there's not as much potential, right? Because you're already down around a couple of bucks. So you don't have as much potential to the downside. We only look to go long, and we're only looking to go long if our trigger goes off. The setup was there. This name had a ton of pre-market volume. I know it had a news catalyst. Where was it at? Let me find it. Okay, down here. Okay, Safety Group estimates 146 to 169% growth in revenue for first quarter. So when everybody else is tanking, they're throwing it out there. Man, we're going to blow our revenues away. right, so that's why it was on the pre-market watch list, and it had a low float. Had big, if I remember right, it had huge. It had like, I want to say, 1.5 million in volume during the pre-market. Had a news catalyst. That's two things right there. Gave us a nice range in the pre-market. Okay, that's three things. They're telling us that they're going to crush their earnings. That's four things, right? Look at the volume, even pre-market. It was already 6 times here. Okay, is this the first candle? Yep, that's the first candle. It was almost 12. Then it was about 14 times. Okay, lots of things in our favor for the potential for a big move, but we never triggered. Nothing to do. Okay, don't get excited. Okay, this is, I'm going to defend some other people out there who they don't need me to defend them, but there's a lot of trading rooms and trading services. They either do penny stocks or these dollar stocks, and I see people bashing them a lot. Some of them are bad. Some of these services are bad, but some of them people don't understand, and they don't follow what the person who's trying to teach them is telling them. Okay, there's a reason that you don't go long on a name like this unless your trigger goes off. This is why. Right here. This is why. Okay, if it takes that out, now some people might be saying, okay, well, Scott, this thing was only $1.50, $1.40, and we had this big move through the pre-market. You're telling me that if I wait up here, there's still going to be meat left on the bone? Absolutely. Right? Absolutely. Okay, look at this. This was CYCC. Just a couple days ago, this thing was trading at 60 some cents. You see that across here? Maybe even lower. Okay, way down here. Then we had a jump up. Then it kind of sold back down and flattened out right around six-ish dollars coming into today. We get another news catalyst. We have this big move in the pre-market up to 11 something. Again, somebody might say, hey, there's not going to be enough meat left on the bone. Do you think there was enough meat left on the bone? The thing went up almost $8 over the pre-market high. We weren't even trying to catch all of that. I only go back to show you this to show you that yes, okay, and from an institutional or big money perspective, right, they're going to get in and get more excited when they see this happen. Once that gets taken out, that's starting to show strength. You typically see what we saw right here, a big pop. And it's always going to be relative to the particular name. So if you're talking about a stock that is $1 or $1.50, then that pop may only be $2, right? And that's huge, right? And on a $6 stock, okay, coming into today, it was trading in the sixes, and it goes all the way up to 19 in one day. Plenty of meat left on the bone. You just don't want to get yourself caught on the wrong side of this stuff. That's why we give you the formula and we say nothing to do unless the pre-market high gets taken out. Let me see if there was any others I wanted to look at. Give me just a second here, folks. Yeah, two more. Two more I want to look at. So CODX, I traded this the other day. Okay, so today, again, more news, low float, unusually high pre-market volume. Right here is where we would have tried to enter, and look what happened. It spiked up. I think it was only about, let's look here, 21.50. So that was only 20 some cents, maybe 25 cents. came back down, spiked up again, came back down, tried to move up, kind of melted up, and then sold off. Just didn't give us what we wanted, right? Not like it did here, and not like it did here. That's going to happen, right? So the factors were there, but we just got these little pop-ups. So in a best case scenario, you get stopped out, either break even, or you maybe make just a tiny little bit, right? Or lose just a tiny little bit, right? Now it didn't reverse early and go against us, but it just didn't give us the boom, the big pop that we would hope, right? And then last one I want to look at is Paycom. Give me 1 second here, folks. Cathal, I definitely will take a look at dollar CAD. Give me 1 second. Definitely will. All right, so here is Paycom. Okay, so Paycom was also one on our list, bigger name. And right here was our pre-market high. That was 226. So you look to enter around 226.05. And we made a high of 229.12. 29, yeah. Man, I must not have set my alert on here. Or if it went off, I was doing something else. That's actually a good game. I was going to look at this and show you how, we just, we didn't get much, but we did. So high here, pre-market high was 226. Let me draw it across. Okay, there's our pre-market high right there. We would have entered around 226.05. Your high was 229.12. Probably wouldn't have exited until it came back here. So let's just say 228.30. That's still $2.20 some cents. $2.25. Okay, it just didn't happen right out of the gate. Nothing to do until you take it out here. Right here's where we take it out. We get the pop, then it comes back, and then it sells down. So this actually worked. I either didn't set my alert or my alert went off, and I was so busy with something else that I just couldn't check it at the time. But it did work. It did work beautifully. Okay, $2.25. Okay, US CAD, dollar CAD. Here it is. All right, here's dollar CAD. Stretch it out just a little bit. Okay, so we came down here. This was 8 o'clock in the morning. We had this steep move down. Then we went bottoming tail, both off of the 200. Okay, then we started to change momentum. Sort of rounded here. Okay. Now this one's not as clean as some of those other ones we looked at, but how do we know the momentum changed? Well, two big bottoming tails off the 200. Then we start to go green. Okay, inside candle right here, inside candle. You take the top out, went up, but then it came back. You would have got stopped out there on the 30-minute. Inside candle again, went down, then came back through. You could have entered right here. And let's look. Let's just see what we could have got. 4071. So you would have entered about, let's even say 4075 up here, and then pulled back. You maybe exited about right there, 92. So what is that? 75 to 92. Is that about 17, right? About 17 pips there. Then it came back and it had this big move. Cathal, did you try to trade it anywhere in here? Did you try to trade it? This inside candle here, definitely somebody would have got stopped out on. But this inside candle, it would have moved down and then come back through. And there's your entry, and that would have been good for, even after it pulled back a little bit, about 17 pips. So Cathal, if you're still watching, I'm just interested to see if you tried to trade it today and if you got anything out of it. You can let me know. Here recently, the 200 has been acting as support for it. Okay, you're short on the 15 minute. All right, so let's go to the 15 minute. And let me stretch it out so we can see the candles better. Okay, and why did you go short, Cathal? Was it you saw this shooting star here? Is that why you decided to go short? Or another reason? This is an inside candle right here. Still hasn't been taken out yet. I'm just waiting. If you get a chance, tell me why you're going short here. I'm just curious. I'm not discounting that going short might not be the right play. Because I could see there entering here, but you would get stopped out. Then this goes inside. If that got taken out here to the downside, that would be a good short opportunity, and then you could probably come clear back to the 20 over time. Depends on how long that might play out. Could happen quickly, right? Because look at how it falls away sometimes. Remember the old saying, you take the stairs up, you take the elevator down. Demand zone from a bit back. So I don't know if maybe talking about like back in here somewhere. That would have been tested right there and fell away, come back in, and maybe you're looking for a second bite at the apple, right? And maybe head lower. Okay, if it takes this out and starts to get some momentum, I could see that this could be a very good scalp, maybe back down to the 20. The 20 is going to continue to rise, but you don't have anything over here that should slow it down. So I'm going to do this. I'm going to set an alert right about here. That way, if this hits, it'll tell me that Cathal probably made some money. Because the 20 is going to keep moving this way, and even if this takes us out and stops dropping, the 20 is still going to move this way for a little bit. Okay, and let's just see. If it takes that out, 41.15 to 40, let's say 90, that'd be 25 pips, so right there. Yeah, I would be too, Cathal, right? You take this out and get moving just down to right here is 25 pips. But wherever the 20 is at the time would probably be my T1 if it started moving down. I'm just setting this here because I'm not going to be looking at it. I'm going to look at some other things once we jump off of here. But yeah, if it takes this inside candle out, there's a really good opportunity possibly for a short there. Entry was at 18. Okay, that's not bad. That's right up here. Okay, so that's not bad. All right, well, good luck on that, Cathal. And let's just take one last look at the market, and then we'll wrap this up. Okay, so here we are on the market. Let me do this. I want to squeeze this in a little bit. We got, you're welcome, Cathal. Okay, we got a somewhat of a spinning top. That's not really as clean as I would like it to see, or would like to see. Still, Okay, we're either going to take the top out or the bottom. If we take the bottom out, okay, then we are still looking at more downside, right? We get through here and get through here, then we know it should be a fairly easy drop to this level, especially the 27.88, because we know that's the bottom of that big candle to the left, back over here. Oh, I got to go back to the 30-minute. Okay, that's the bottom of this candle right here, 27.88. So if we continue down, right, if we continue down here and we get through this stuff, it should drop down pretty quickly to around that 27.88 range, which is right there, which would put us right around the bottom of our broadening range, broadening triangle, expanding range. So I'll set an alert down here too, just in case it happens later. I'm going to put it around 27.90. And we'll see how it plays out. There we go. So if it gets down around here, you know, it doesn't have to happen in one candle. It could happen in 2 or 3 or 4 candles, and that'll keep moving it over this way. And we got to make that lower low, right? We got to make this lower low to know that we are still trending down, right? Because where we're at right now, if this started to go the other way and made a higher high, you would say we're trending up. But right now, if we go lower low, lower high, lower low, we're trending down. Okay, guys, thanks for joining me. We went over, I mean, this is longer than we normally go for our private sessions, but I think we got a lot of good stuff covered today. And as always, if you have any questions, you can ask me in the room. Be more than happy to answer them. And if you're trading, stay safe, stay smart. All right, we'll see you after a while. Bye-bye.